Hello, Oscar. Grandpa here. Happy Easter to you all, including your little sister Annabelle. And happy Easter from Grandpa and Granny. And you know who? He's having a fun Easter day here from Moosey. You all right? Happy Easter, Moosey? Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah. Happy Easter. You're going to say Happy Easter to them? Yep, Happy Easter. There we are. You be good now. Sit just there. Don't be naughty. So, I hope you had great fun with your Easter egg hunt, Oscar. I love the way you were helping Annabelle, and I know you had great fun finding the little Easter eggs. So I hope you have a lovely day today with your sister and Mummy and Daddy as well. Moosey, what are you doing? So, there we were last week. We'd finished the little one about the panda pups, haven't we? Chi-Chi and May-May. And we're going to now have another go at reading the Silky Seal Pup. And if you remember, a lovebird had flapped over to Zoe and perched on a branch, and she was bright yellow crest sticking up from a head with a spiky hairstyle. And Zoe asked whether because they heard all this, if you remember this noise that sounded like a leopard growling. So, have you seen a leopard around here? Meep called. We think one might have escaped. To Zoe's surprise, the parrots burst out laughing, flapping their bright wings in the air. Then Ruby opened her beak and made the sound of a leopard growling. Zoe gasped. It was you, she said, smiling in relief. It wasn't a leopard at all. You naughty thing, Ruby. The cheeky parrot fluffed her feathers proudly and made a loud trumpeting noise, which made Meep squeal with laughter. It sounded just like Oscar, the African elephant. There we are, Oscar. You've got an elephant named after you. Oscar, the African elephant. Isn't that lovely? Giggling, Zoe waved to the parrots and carried on down the path with Meep on her shoulder. As they walked towards the cottage where they lived, the sun began to set, bathing the zoo in beautiful reds and pinks. Meep yawned sleepily and snuggled against Zoe. All that swimming has made me tired, he chirped. Zoe giggled as she cuddled her friend. You didn't even go swimming, Meep. They turned the final corner to the cottage, and suddenly Meep was wide awake again, chattering in glee. Zoe gasped. Outside the cottage, swaying gently in the evening breeze, was a huge, colourful, hot air balloon. And guess who's in that, Oscar? Yes, Great Uncle Horace was back. Wow. So, Chapter 2, The Snowball Seal. There we are. There's the little seal pup. Oh, so sweet. Moosey, what are you doing? Zoe burst into the cottage. Great Uncle Horace, she called as she kicked off her shoes and ran inside. I can't believe you're back. Zoe's mum popped into the hallway. We're in the living room, she explained in a whisper. Try to be quiet, love. Our new arrival is asleep. Zoe's tummy was suddenly full of butterflies. She'd been so eager to see Great Uncle Horace, she'd almost forgotten that he might have a new animal for the rescue zoo. She and Meep grinned at each other. Meeting new creatures was one of their favourite things about living at the zoo. What do you think Goo has brought back? Whispered Meep excitedly as they tiptoed into the living room. Zoe giggled at Meep's cute nickname for her great uncle. Meep calls Great Uncle Horace Goo, doesn't he, Oscar? Great Uncle Horace was sitting in a comfy chair with a cup of tea and a plate of his favourite custard cream cookies next to him. His friendly brown eyes lit up when he saw Zoe. Kiki, the hyacinth macaw, who went everywhere with Great Uncle Horace, was perched on the back of the chair, preening her beautiful blue feathers. And huddled on Great Uncle Horace's lap was a ball of pure white fluff. I wonder what that is, Oscar. Can you guess? Meep squeaked curiously. Zoe, what is it? He whispered. It looks like a big fuzzy snowball. Zoe grinned. I think it's a baby seal. And there's Great Uncle Horace with Kiki and Zoe and a little baby seal. That's so sweet. Great Uncle Horace beamed. That's right, my dear, he said. She's a harp seal pup and she's just a week old. Come and have a closer look. As Zoe and Meep crept forward, the seal woke up. Slowly a pair of huge inky black eyes blinked open and stared at them. Then the baby seal twitched her black nose and whiskers and looked nervously at Great Uncle Horace. She's quite timid, Great Uncle Horace explained. She's had a rather scary time, I'm afraid. She was taken from her home by hunters. Oh, that's awful, isn't it, Oscar? Zoe gasped. That's awful. Great Uncle Horace nodded gravely. A baby seal's splendid white coat is very valuable to some people. Luckily, Kiki and I found her just in time, and I knew the rescue zoo was the right home for her. Gently, Zoe reached out and stroked the pup's fluffy white head. She's so beautiful, she said. And a fascinating animal too, said Great Uncle Horace. Did you know that baby harp seals learn to swim and find their own food when they are just a few weeks old? Truly incredible. And even though seals live in some of the coldest oceans in the world, they're actually warm-blooded mammals, just like tigers or elephants. Or us, Oscar, human beings. Their beautiful coats and a thick layer of blubber keep them toasty and warm. Zoe sat cross-legged on the floor in front of her great-uncle, with Meep on her shoulder. She loved it when Great Uncle Horace told her about animals. What's a group of seals called? She asked. Do you know what a group of seals is called, Oscar? Well, there are a few different names, Great Uncle Horace replied. Some people call it a herd, some a rookery, and others a pod. Like a group of dolphins, said Zoe. That's who we were visiting today before you arrived. Suddenly a thought popped into her head. Great Uncle Horace, why didn't you let anyone know you were coming home? Normally you sail your hot air balloon right over the whole zoo, so all the animals know you've arrived. To her surprise, Great Uncle Horace blushed bright pink. Well, would you like a custard cookie? He asked quickly, holding out the plate of cookies. Zoe glanced down at Meep, who looked just as puzzled as she felt. Was Great Uncle Horace trying to keep his arrival a secret for some reason? Before she could say anything, her uncle continued. I almost forgot. I have some more exciting news, Zoe. Great Uncle Horace smiled. I've brought home some wonderful chrysalises. They're the little homes that caterpillars make for themselves when they're getting ready to turn into butterflies. They're still in the balloon and I must take them to the butterfly room at Higgins Hall before they hatch. Would you like to come? Zoe hesitated. She loved butterflies, but she was eager to try and speak to the seal pup alone. New animals were sometimes nervous when they arrived at the zoo, and Zoe always tried to give them a friendly welcome in the special way that only she could. Can I stay here and help the baby seal settle in? She asked hopefully. Great Uncle Horace nodded, smiling. Of course, my dear, I know you'll take excellent care of her. He stood up with the seal cradled in his arms and held her out to Zoe. Zoe scrambled up onto the sofa and Great Uncle Horace carefully placed the seal pup in Zoe's arms so she could hold her like a baby. Look at that, Oscar. Just look at that. And that little seal pup. Isn't that so sweet? Zoe gasped as she cuddled the little seal. She was so soft and warm. As Zoe looked down at her, the pup gazed up with big black eyes. Her sweet black nose snuffled curiously. She was absolutely beautiful. Before he left, Great Uncle Horace turned to Lucy. I'll see you at in the morning, he added mysteriously. Lucy walked him and Kiki to the door and waved them off. Meep hopped onto Zoe's shoulder. What's happening in the morning? He squeaked. I've no idea, Zoe whispered back. Great Uncle Horace was acting strangely, but she wasn't too worried. He was probably just planning his next adventure. Anyway, she had other things to think about, like the gorgeous Silky Seal Pup. Wow, Oscar, that's such a great story. Well, we'll end it there today. That's the end of chapter 2. And I look forward to reading to you again next week and maybe see you some stage during the week as well. we chat to Mummy and Daddy and your little sister. So I hope your, Annabelle's okay, and lots of love from Granny and from Grandpa, me, and from Missy, and have lots of fun today, and we'll catch up soon. Bye for now, Oscar. Bye. Bye.